Hey there everyone, it's Haz here and welcome back to another field survey video that was requested a lot. I do plan on making a lot more of these gameplay videos in the future, as I feel it also gives me more time to play the game than just edit for many hours. And since it was also highly requested, it's a win-win. Today's rotation is on Gunfish and Hydroplant with the Aerospray, Tetra Dualies, Range Blaster and the Squiffer. An overall pretty easy rotation with well-balanced weapons, plus it's on the easiest stage. So I marked this rotation with a heat of 3.5 on the Salmon report. We'll play one wave with each of the weapons, and I'll try to share some weapon tips but also highlight gameplay decisions I make that might help you learn more as well. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, consider liking and subscribing, and with that said, let's start. So the map is Gunfish and Hydroplant, which I consider the easiest stage by far, mostly thanks to the layout of the map having the second level walls that not only allow fantastic mobility for the team, but also range to splat salmonids on the shore, including shore bosses. As always, start the wave by painting all the crucial walls. We talked about this, why it's important. It gives the team a lot more room and also saves you the awkward moments when you just can't escape because they aren't painted. If you don't know which walls to paint, I do have a dedicated video for it. The way I like to play the Aerospray is to focus on its strengths as much as I can, so painting and fast firing and mobility. Which means I want to splat as many lesser salmonids, floppers, scrappers and lids as possible and give breathing room to the team. This way they can concentrate on the nastier bosses without worry, such as steelheads that I don't have the range for, and I also have a pretty chill time just spraying low health salmonids. I would like to pause here. I'm not doing anything extraordinary, but according to my experience, one thing freelance players neglect a lot is shooting torpedoes from drizzlers. You can see I don't really have to do this, yet I still shoot it first because the ink storms they create are probably the most dangerous passive against your team, and you never notice you are out of space until it's too late. So shoot those torpedoes, it takes no effort. Next, the big shot spawns, which means we should take care of it as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I was alone, but I still managed to get one of them. But since the steel eel spawned, you have to recognize you are no longer in control and you have to retreat. If the second big shot spawned earlier, it would have been a perfect situation to use a special, but since I took care of one, I felt we were safe. At this point, a stinger spawned on the opposite side of the map, and I personally think stingers are by far the most urgent boss you have to take care of, so I set out to do so along with a range blaster user who takes care of it really fast. And here, I want to pause again as I make a massive mistake. First of all, the range blaster could handle the stinger no problem, there's no reason for me to jump down. Second of all, this is a trap corner and you should never jump down here, or at least not without looking around first and making sure you have a fixed and safe escape route. Either way, I was lucky and there was only a slamming lid there I can handle, and I used it as an elevator to get out of the shore safely. This is actually one of my favorite uses of slamming lids on Hydroplant, where you can do this a lot of the times. Quota is met, the wave is pretty much successful and is over. All in all, nice job from the team and well done. Next, the range blaster. It's a fairly fun weapon to use honestly, but it definitely requires some practice and also knowing some tricks on how to use it properly, as in freelance most of the times the problem is simply people not using weapons right. The weapon's strong point is filtering lesser salmonids and taking care of bosses from afar, and both of these are very easily done on Hydroplant. It's the best map for the range blaster. Steel eels are also, by the way, one of the most dangerous bosses in my opinion, though there's usually not a lot of talks about it like a flyfish. But when things get crowded, steel eels are the ones that I'm afraid of the most, so I tend to splat them as soon as possible. My coworkers handle the stinger fast here and efficiently that I have no time to really respond to it, but I can see they are also followed by a horde of salmonids, which is the perfect demonstration on just how powerful the range blaster is for filtering lessers. So make sure you target these large packs walking around. A great mobility tip for all blasters, but generally a lot of weapons too, is to jump shoot, which often gets asked in comments what it means. It's simply jumping forward from swim form into an unpainted area and shooting during the jump animation. It's just an overall higher momentum way of moving, especially with slow-firing weapons that usually can't keep up with the paint. Another thing a lot of players with blasters struggle with is splatting small fry, but there is a very easy trick, and the only scenario you should ever target the ground with a blaster, as these so-called spark shots are very weak to damage most enemies, but they are just enough to splat all small fries around you, so you're pretty strong at small fry duty as well. Things are getting a bit heated here, and for some reason I decided to go for the fist stick, which I wouldn't consider very high priority right now, but I guess I wanted some high ground for myself to see what's happening. I also climbed the stick as I felt Moz was following me, so shooting from below would have been way too dangerous because of the camera angle. After making sure the whole team is alive, I tried to go towards the stinger that spawned, but first I have to deal with the steelhead. As a range blaster, it needs a bit of timing, but even 2 missed shots will easily splat a steelhead. When the stage is too crowded, I just recommend splatting shore bosses and leave. There's a lot more you can do than collect those eggs, and the quota is also almost met, so just clear the basket area, get one of the easier bosses, and secure the wave. The Squiffer I think is the strongest charger, mostly thanks to its fast charging and mobility, and while it does suffer some lower range, I think it's just enough. Its specialty is that unlike other chargers, it charges its shots fine even while jumping, which gives you a lot of movement in Salmon Run. You just have to practice using it, after which you can play very aggressively with the Squiffer. Immediately, my first tip to all players who struggle with chargers is to start splatting Quahawks and lesser Salmonids. Charge up your gun and shoot through them. Chargers have this bad stereotype that they are just steelhead splatters and that's it, but chargers can just as easily clear the stage as most weapons with proper piercing shots. You can see the stage is already full of multiple flyfish. Now this is a perfect opportunity to use your special straight up. Multiple flyfish spawned on the opposite side and the lessers are also still up. A special here is never wasted and it will potentially reset the stage back to neutral state. Since I'm a charger, I tried to move away so I can see a bit more clearly where I need to help, and we also have some time to collect golden eggs, so nothing is wasted, and meanwhile, this is the exact situation where it's important to splat those drizzler torpedoes. Now at this point you might wonder why I decided to splat these 2 Salmon lids at the edge of the map. They're harmless, right? Well, not exactly, and this is something Freelance ignores a lot. Those Salmon lids are constantly spawning more and more lesser Salmonids, overcrowding the stage and wasting the whole team's time by having to splat more Quahawks. Especially when things are getting out of control, Salmon lids must be splatted to get rid of all the excess lesser Salmonids that annoy just everyone. Finally, I use my last ink strike to deny this fish stick trying to take this whole platform, and I make sure I secure the wave by filling the quota with the golden egg I have and the drizzler splat. A little bit close, but the team handled it really well. Finally, the Tetra Dualies, my least favorite dualies to get, as I think they are sadly the weakest. The 4 rolls they get are a lot cheaper than others, true, but I think they suffer too much in every other part of being a dualie, and it's just really not needed. Playstyle wise, I'll play similarly like an Aerospray, so focus on lesser Salmonids, and using my mobility to keep the stage clear of mobile bosses. Here at the start, I'm being careful against these stingers, as going down might be a bit too dangerous when a lot of lessers are spawning. You see my coworker even jump down here and they just got splatted by all those lessers. This is why it's dangerous. Normally, I would try to lure this lid back, but the whole team is here, so we might as well splat it and try to get as many golden eggs back as possible. Remember, luring is great, but in the end, working together with your team is much more important. Now back to cleaning the basket area. Here I'm looking at the snatchers specifically, and let me pause. We couldn't get all the eggs from the shore, right? But fortunately, we got a lucky snatcher spawn, and I was looking at them going for the shore eggs, which he will bring straight back to the basket since all snatchers return to where they come from. Utilize snatchers this way and gather eggs you couldn't collect. At this point, things are getting a bit all over the place, but nothing too much. I still have 2 of my specials, so I start using them just to clear as many bosses as possible. Now this here is a perfect example of just how powerful Killer Veil can be. With good targeting, you can get rid of multiple flyfish and some other bosses as well, completely getting rid of all danger on the stage and easing up everyone's job on the team. It's pretty much textbook example of a proper Killer Veil. Now the rest is pretty much just cleaning up the stage and celebrating our victory. It was a smooth wave. I do have to point out though that I did not roll as much as I should have with the Tetras for increased damage. Though I don't feel it hurt me that much, but it's still a good habit to practice it as it saves a few seconds here and there. Now that was it for our second field survey in the series. Hope you all liked it. Let me know some feedback so I can also improve this further to be more useful. If you liked the video, remember to like and subscribe, and leaving a comment also helps a lot. Thank you for watching everyone, take care, and I'll see you the next time.